So, your backlog of games is freakishly huge, isn't it?
I know it is.
It's okay. No need to confess your sins to me of all people. Oh, and thank you, Cap. But anywho, the video gamer's backlog is very, very real. Besides mere
I am
theory, it
very
is quite
real.
possibly the realest thing you're gonna face if you are someone who has played video games for an uncharacteristically considerable amount of time. Now, I'm sure you, watching this video right now, have friends that play games. You've probably both talked about the games you enjoy, as well as shared your experiences, as well as what you both did wrong, somehow. I mean, there's no better pastime than to compare file sizes, am I right? Right? But he probably doesn't play them to 100% completion, or maybe they did at one point and fell victim to the clutches of reality. Now, check this out. You, unlike your friends and many, many others, have committed to completing this game, right? And figuring out all the puzzles, achievements, and searching every possible nook and cranny because you want the bragging rights as a completionist. And it's not necessarily to boast about it, but simply because you want to milk the most out of the game so dry that your fingers will no longer sweat after playing them. It'll just, I don't know, also dry out.
Simile.
Now, this is totally understandable to a certain degree, right? You've paid your hard earned money, so you want to explore the full depth and vision of these hard-working game developers. Honestly, I could cover the premise behind completing games in a separate video. It's literally that lengthy of a topic, but I'll do what I promised and try not to bore you simply because I care about you. It has been extensively and scientifically proven, by nobody of course, that completing video games to absolute completion triggers a dopamine release. Now, the science behind dopamine is undisputable, and the way we feel after completing a game puts our mind and body through so many emotions. At first, you'll scream,
Oh
and then that's combated with either a massive headache from all that incessant shouting, or you'll get verbal scornage from your parents, wondering if they're having any second thoughts before asking you about your well being. Now, all of that is great, right? And in tune with the rules of the universe, right?
I know it is.
Well, what if I told you that all of this simply doesn't matter to anyone other than yourself? And for the record, that's how it should be. I mean, imagine watching your favorite YouTuber play a game and they don't beat it till the very end. At first, you might go,
What?
and then follow up by proceeding to threaten them by unsubscribing. Yeah, I love to be the bearer of good news, but you need to snap out of that mindset if you're still in it. Make that one of your goals for 2023. Realistically, a backlog is only an issue simply because you made it out to be. You genuinely believe it's this big stress on your life worth contemplating about every waking minute, when in reality, it's all in your head. One unfinished game isn't the end of the world, and you can eventually make time for it. However, most people watching this video probably have more than one game on their bucket list, and just looking at that list is probably overload city for your head. Trust me, I've been there. To me, the moment one starts accumulating a video game backlog is the moment video games are starting to represent something different to you. Maybe you used to view them as escapist fun, and now you're taking them so seriously, it's almost like a burden. The moment you start burdening yourself to wipe off all your backlog catalog is the moment the spark starts to fizzle out. Don't you want your video games to not only look fun and feel fun, but also fun for your mind? As far as I'm concerned, this is what they're meant to be. And you should do everything in your power to maintain this relationship, even if it means you don't spend time with it like you used to. Burden is all around us and is inescapable, but the moment it manifests into obsession, that becomes a problem. An obsession is killer, especially if it's something you shouldn't be obsessing over, period. Exclamation point. We all have our reasons for having a backlog. Like I mentioned earlier, the clutches of reality are inevitable.
I am inevitable.
On you, your friends, your favorite YouTube gamer girls, poisonous reptiles. I'm not saying reality represents something good or bad here, but the point I'm trying to make here is reality comes first and should be met with the utmost priority. Despite how realistic these video games may look, they aren't real life and shouldn't be treated as such. But the moment you start obsessing over what games you've yet to complete, the longer and longer it's gonna stay there. It's not a girlfriend. It's not gonna leave you because you're not keeping things spontaneous. Your games are in the exact same position they were in the first time you organized your collection. They'll be there when you need them. That's the beauty of them. Video games have no power if they're not in your hands, just like you have no power without the mind.
Here's metaphor.
I know it can be tough to accept, but the fact is we are not meant to play every game that's out there, only the ones we enjoy. And that's what games are for. If you are looking for advice on how to wipe your backlog of games off your list, you're going to have to look elsewhere. Because this was never intended to be a video on how to overcome said backlog. Just simply an in-depth overview on the headspace that unfolds when a video game backlog seeps through your life. Honestly, after watching this video, I don't want to hear or say the word backlog for a while. I'll put that on my bucket list, and I'll see you lovelies around.